Welcome back to the International Volleyball Academy. In this episode, we will focus on the reception of a jump serve. This skill is crucial for success in offensive play, especially in men's volleyball. With serve speeds reaching up to 120 kilometers per hour, 74 miles per hour, the primary goal is to keep the ball in play, allowing for the development of an attack, even from a high set, and to avoid the opponent scoring directly off the serve. Before we dive into today's topic, let's quickly review what we learned last time. Receiving a float serve. Float serves are most common in women's volleyball, with fewer occurrences in men's volleyball. We learned that the best initial positioning is closer to the net. We demonstrated that the split step is a footwork activation move that adds dynamism to the action that follows. After the split step, further movement may or may not occur. The split step generally happens when the ball is halfway between the server and the receiver. The player cushions the ball with movements such as stepping backward, using only the arms, or straightening the torso. The arms aim toward the ball's target, and they remain together even after contact. Upper body reception is technically no different from digging and is more common in men's volleyball. Now, onto the promised reception of the jump serve.
We begin the analysis with the starting position. Compared to a float serve, the starting position moves further back, sometimes up to 8 meters or 26 feet from the net. As the server tosses the ball, the receiving players typically take 1 or 2 steps forward. This becomes the anticipated point of reception, but often further movement is required from this position. The same applies to women, although jump serves are far less common in women's volleyball. Before the action, players remain calm. In men's volleyball, it's typical for players to rest their hands on their thighs. Some players use what is called priming, an ideomotor preparation for the action that follows.
Then comes the familiar split step. The timing of the split step depends on the serve speed, as we learned in the previous episode. The faster the serve, the closer the timing of the split step is to the moment the server strikes the ball. For women, the split step occurs slightly later, as women's jump serves are typically 20 to 30 kilometers per hour, or 18 miles per hour, slower than men's.
After the split step comes the reception itself. Sometimes the player has time for a tiny foot adjustment, as in this case, while other times the reaction is limited to correctly positioning the arms. There is no time for anything else. And as we'll later see, sometimes there isn't even time to properly set the arms. It's rare to receive the serve from a solid stance on both feet, as in this example. Far more common are situations where the player cushions the ball in whatever way the situation allows. This could involve moving the body backward, moving the arms between the legs, kneeling, moving the arms backward to the side, straightening the torso, jumping backward, or a combination of movements where the body moves back and the arms guide the ball forward.
What does this mean for training? Firstly, children must be adapted to fast-flying balls from the age of 12. This begins with warm-ups in pairs. No lobs, only straight lines. If possible, spike the ball constantly while jumping to simulate in-game situations. Secondly, the reception of a jump serve is similar to digging, given the ball's speed. This means that from a certain age, the skills for receiving a jump serve and digging merge into one. Controlling a ball traveling over 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour in any way that allows play to continue. And we must also fall. Whether receiving a serve or playing defense, players must be ready to fall, which we've already prepared for in previous episodes. This primarily involves forward falls, especially in response to a short top-spinning serve, remember? In the last episode, we taught players how to surprise their opponents with short serves, and now we must prepare receivers to respond to this tactic. Then there's the roll side, and of course the backward fall, which is a natural reaction to a very fast serve aimed at the receiver's body.
In training, we again combine two skills into one. Digging and receiving the jump serve become one skill of ball control when dealing with a fast-flying ball, where reaction time is minimal and, of course, including all types of falls.
Of course, every player's goal is to create the perfect reception platform with their arms and minimize the risk of error. It's also important that the player keeps their arms together after contact, but in practice, the ball's speed and lack of time make controlling the ball difficult, leading to mistakes. Therefore, receptions often require emergency solutions, such as receiving with one hand or switching from a lower to an upper technique when the ball unexpectedly clips the net.
A good skill for a receiving player is the ability to read the ball's trajectory and, in a split second, decide to let it go out of bounds. This skill develops with experience, and volleyball masters have a very precise eye.
However, receiving a jump serve is a difficult skill. Mistakes are inevitable, and they must be expected and overcome through focused training. And how do mistakes happen? Sometimes the player simply fails to control the ball, even without an obvious technical error. Other times the mistake occurs because the ball drops in front of the player, making it impossible to cushion, as in this case. Sometimes the error results from incorrect arm positioning. Then there are cases where a powerful serve practically knocks the player down.
To minimize these knockdowns, it's necessary to demand more of ourselves in training and constantly work with hard-hit balls. This involves either hitting the ball from an elevated position with constant individual variations, or spiking the ball over the net after tossing it yourself, working in pairs or trios. We'll cover the cooperation of receiving players in another episode. These drills highlight the importance of mastering the attack after your own toss, which we discussed in relation to jump serves. And don't forget the wall. Remember, the wall is the best teacher because it always tells the truth about you. Now, a brief recap.
With serve speeds of around 120 kilometers per hour or 74 miles per hour, the primary goal of reception is to keep the ball in play and create the opportunity to attack. Compared to float serves, the initial position for receiving a jump serve is further back, up to 8 meters or 26 feet from the net. The faster the serve, the closer the timing of the split step is to the server's contact with the ball. During the reception, the player has minimal time for any foot movement and often reacts only with correct arm positioning. Children must be adapted to fast-flying balls from the age of 12. Digging and receiving a jump serve become one skill of fast ball control. A good receiver can read the ball's flight and quickly decide to let it go out of bounds. Mistakes are a part of receiving a jump serve and must be expected and overcome with focused training.
What's coming next? After the reception comes the set. Setters are the playmakers and essentially the coaches on the court. In the next episode of the International Volleyball Academy, we will focus on the technique, variations, and tactics of setting. Did we forget something? Is there something you don't understand? Don't hesitate to write to us. We'll definitely get back to you. Take care.